But if anyone knows how long and fraught the fight for freedom can be, it is Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, who today met with Iranian opposition leader Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi in Paris in a show of solidarity. Joining us now is Shervin Pishevar, an advisor to the exiled Crown Prince. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I've been looking forward to our conversation. First, I want to ask you about the conversation between the Crown Prince and Zelensky. How did that go today? What are we learning?
Excellent. I think they have mutual respect for each other. The Crown Prince called out to the Iranian people to come out in the streets in early January. And President Trump also told the Iranian people to come out in the streets. We have your back. That created a moral contract with the Iranian people. And the Iranian people were slaughtered on January 8th and 9th. We hear that over 43,000 Iranians were killed. I put an image of the bullets that were used. These are anti-material bullets used for tanks and airplanes. They're bigger than a Coca-Cola can. They were using this on human bodies. So this was a terrible crime against humanity that happened. And the Iranian people are very thankful to the U.S. And to the soldiers who are sacrificing and laying down their lives in this liberation operation. What they have now said, the Crown Prince has told the Iranian people to shelter in place, wait for three things to happen. Defang this regime, which, as you've seen now, the Basijis, which are the militia that killed all these people, are being hunted down by these drones. That began yesterday. The 10,000 sites that they have attacked in these 2 weeks have taken, basically obliterated their ability to use their missiles. And now they're going after the militia, the Basiji, and the IRGC, one by one. So the hunters have become the hunted. And the Iranian people have been on a run and really in an open-air prison extermination camp for 47 years. This is the final end game for the Iranian people. Within, we believe, weeks, we will be able to have a moment for the Iranian people in a much safer environment to be able to come out and protest without these guns, pointed at them.
But I have to ask, you mentioned defang the regime. You said it could happen in a few weeks. How could that happen? What needs to happen within that country where citizens, after 47 years of being oppressed by this government, will have not the courage, they have the courage to stand up, but not have the fear of losing their lives to rise up against the current regime?
This is the first AI war of America. The precision with which you've seen the Department of War act out within 2 weeks. And this defanging is real. They are obliterating the Iranian military. And now they're going after the militia. So it's a step by whether it's a few weeks or more. There's not a lot of time left here. The leadership has been decimated. The Mojtaba Khamenei, the son, was the head of assassinations, executions. He's even more evil than his father. And the fact that he had to write a letter and there's no proof of life is a sign that he is, as Secretary Hegseth said, most likely mortally damaged, wounded, incapacitated. So they're just trying to buy time. This is a dying regime.
I want to go back to the exiled Crown Prince. Supporters have said that his fans, his supporters, have always said that toppling the current regime is necessary. But considering this war could last for weeks and the regime is holding on, are the Iranian people running out of time to rise up? And I also want to mention President Trump's doubt of the prince being able to handle what's going on in Iran right now if he does come back into office.
The Crown Prince is the only legitimate transitional leader. He's stepped up courageously. He's ready to go back to his country, to his birthplace, to help lead a transition. The transition government, I'm advising the Iran Prosperity Project, which is a 175-page plan, week by week, of what will happen the day after this regime collapses. And the transitional government will be recognized and should be recognized by Western governments as the legitimate transitional government. And basically it allows for a referendum in the first 100 days for people to vote what kind of democracy they want in Iran to replace this evil regime. That could be a constitutional monarchy like the democracies that exist in Europe, or it could be a republic like in America with a president and a Congress. It's up to the Iranian people to decide. There's also going to be defections, and we've called out for defections. That's already began.
Okay.
And Western countries should boot the regime's ambassadors. The Crown Prince has said for people in the military and the militia to lay down their arms. There's a chance for them to lay down their arms and have a chance to reform.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.